So, I just released the poster, title, synopsis, and proposed release date for the first episode of The Owl House Revived. The first episode is called Far From Normal. It is projected to release on May 20th, time to be announced. There'll be a premiere setup the day before or the day of. It is written by me, my girlfriend, and one of our artists and voice actors, Lavendottir. We've had so much fun figuring out ideas for this episode and, of course, writing it. The script just got finished today as the day that I'm recording this, and it's completely on schedule. And so yeah, I decided to finally release the poster that I made for it, along with the title and synopsis, and proposed release date, because it's about a month until that happens. I mean, that's what the Owl House crew usually does. Also, I'm just impatient as fuck. So I thought this would be a good time to answer some questions that some of you may have. And there's a little speed paint of the poster that I made there. So what does the project environment look like? It's kind of lax, actually. Like, we have a Discord server for the project, and almost all of the channels there are project related. We have welcome and rules, announcements for any big announcements that the whole server needs to know. We have introductions of the crew and cast members there. We have a final cast and crew just to keep track of who's playing who. We have the episode titles for just so people don't get lost. We have a roll call, which I do every month, and you just press I'm here, and just so that I know that you're still active. And then we have an updates thread, which is a more recent addition that I made to the Discord server, just so people aren't completely lost on little updates, and so it just doesn't clog up the announcements channel, because I understand that getting added a whole lot can be annoying. So I try to limit those. Then there's things to do, episode ideas and feedback. These are available to all of the members. They can spew out ideas that they have. Not every idea is going to be implemented. That's just part of how it works. We can't implement every idea. But it's a good idea to get some ideas, especially if the writers just are stuck on something. Then for writers, we have writing discussion. This is where the writers talk about stuff and then share ideas. They share parts of the scripts that are done. Scripts is obviously where the script links will go. Voice lines is for voice actors. It's where I talk to the voice actors and they ask questions and everything. Audio is for more music-related stuff rather than voice lines, but it's not really used a whole lot. Artists, of course, is for artists to talk about stuff regarding the project. Artwork is just for anything art-related. They can post whatever. Artist work in progresses are kind of the same. You just post what you're working on. And then character design ideas is for any ideas that people have regarding character designs, for specific moments, for new characters, whatever. And then we have a writer's voice chat. This is where me and the writers will usually voice chat about things regarding writing new scripts, writing outlines. It is infinitely easier to discuss an outline on voice chat rather than just through text. It has helped a lot. And then we have a general chat and a self-promotion chat. These are non-project related. Of course, they can be about the project, but it's usually for stuff that's not related to the project. And so you can just talk about whatever there, and then self-promotion is where you can promote your stuff, and so it just doesn't get lost or clogged in any other channels. If you think that this project is like 100% professional, 100% strict, you are 100% wrong. Like, we have fun in this project. I'm not gonna say that we're like a family, because I know that that's like a red flag to people, but we're all besties here. We get along so well. We already have like inside jokes and everything. A few members just like suddenly started posting about this McDonald's dog, and it's just a thing now. I don't understand. So it's like, yeah. And for anyone wondering, I mentioned it in a past video, but the youngest person in the server is 16, and the oldest person in the server is or at least 24. I'll have to check on that, but there is no member on the project that is under 16 or above 24. That's the rules that I set. I'm so sorry to all the 13-year-olds that auditioned for this project. I didn't reveal the age limit because I didn't want you guys lying about your ages. I know you guys do that. I did that as a kid. You're not slick. Regarding how making an episode works, so we have a calendar planned out way before I ever revealed who the cast and crew were. I have been meticulously planning a calendar from April all the way to September. That's not to say that the entire fucking season will be finished by September. No, 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 no. That's just for the first half. Then we're gonna take a hiatus after 9 episodes. It's gonna be like 1 or 2 months. And then during that time, I'll be making a new calendar for the rest of it. So this is just like the time it'll take to make like half a season. But I'm gonna take a sleep plan calendar about when do we start this? When do we have this? When do we need this turned in by? And for all of them, since I'm basically a part of every part, I thought, okay, how much time would I give myself? Especially because I am a very slow artist. I'm not one of those artists that's like sees a new character, it's just like pops out fan art like 5 minutes later. I'm not one of those, trust me. And I myself have a lot of stuff going on in my life aside from the project. I am a college student currently, and even though a lot of the production is going to be during the summer, I have a job. So it's like, I wouldn't give myself like 5 days to like make frames or like artwork for like the part. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I swear to God, I would not be able to do that. And so what I did is that for the artists, I made a point in time where we start the thumbnails. Now, the thumbnails aren't the finished artwork. The thumbnails is just like really, really rough thumbnails. They can be stick figures, they can be like little doodles, which is why I have a shorter time frame for them. You start the thumbnails and everything, and then you turn them in, and that's when I make a mock-up and we like look at the thumbnails and see, okay, is this consistent? Do we have to change anything? Could this be portrayed better? It's to ensure consistency between scenes, because there's a different artist for every scene. Now, the one thing that won't be consistent, and this is just a deliberate choice, the art style won't be consistent. And this is because my huge inspiration for this project are audio dramas. If you watched MLP as a kid and you were in the fandom, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because audio dramas were big in that fandom. And because I grew up in that fandom and I loved all the audio dramas there, think of Bride of Discord, Princess Trixie Sparkle. I loved all of them. Bride of Discord, not so much anymore, but I loved all of them, and as a kid, it was my dream to start one of my own. And I tried to start one at 14, and it failed miserably. It, didn't even get, past episode 1, because I was a kid. It was stupid. But a little fun thing about that, one of the artists that worked on, that audio drama that I tried to make, and, when I was 14 or so, they're working on the project now, so, that's so cool. Hi, Izzy. But yeah, audio dramas are a huge inspiration to me. And one of my favorite things about audio dramas was that you could see so many different art styles. And at least when I watched them, it didn't detract from the experience. It still sucked me in. And honestly, I think that trying to mimic the show's style for every artist, because there's some artists that can replicate the show style fine. There's even an artist on here that asked if they can draw in the art style of the show, and I said, that's completely fine, you do you. But others it would take them a lot of time to properly mimic the show style, and thus, it just would be more efficient if they just did their own art styles. If you don't like the inconsistency of art style, then that's fine. You don't have to voice that in the comments, though. Just go. But yeah, this leads to the next point. How do you have a release date before you're fully finished with the episode? At the time that I'm recording this, the script for episode 1 has just been finished. And then we'll do a cold read with the voice actors over voice chat. The VAs will turn in their lines, and then artists will start all their whole shebang. So the reason I have a release date is because of the calendar that I mentioned before. Just to give a sense of how the schedule works, this is the calendar for April, and then I'm going to show you May as well, just to show how the production for episode 1 has gone and where it's going. So we're right here at the time of recording this. It is April 19th, 2023, and we were right on schedule. We finished the episode 1 script today. And then next is my job to mark Owl House music and compositions on the to what kind of compositions from the show do we need. 21, the theme artist thumbnails have to be turned in. One person is doing the theme. It's not needed for episode 1 right now, but that person is Neat, who also drew the art for Falling Back, which is a reading of an old episode script that we made when this project was a little bit different. And so they're amazing. And the 21st is also when there's going to be a cold read. And it isn't on the calendar right now, but it is going to happen. And then the VA lines are turned in for episode 1 the next day. It is not an issue if VAs or artists are like a day or two late. I think when it comes closer to the release date, that might be more of an issue. But like right now, that's not a huge issue. And then I combine all the VA work for a rough mock-up for artists, just so they can reference how the characters are saying certain things. And then they start the thumbnails, and they're projected to start the thumbnails on the 24th of April. During this, the writers are still working hard. The writers and everyone, they don't just stop working when they're finished. Of course, they're like given some time, but when the artists are working on one episode, writers and VAs are already on the next episode. So then the episode 2 outline will be finished on the 26th, then start writing the episode on the 28th, and then into May, the episode 2 script would be finished on May 1st. Then I would do the composition notes for that on May 3rd. The VAs would probably, we do a cold read maybe on the 2nd, and then their VA lines would be turned in for episode 2. Now May 5th is when the rough episode 1 thumbnails are turned in. Again, these are stick figures, doodles, just to make sure things are consistent. That means that for thumbnails, artists are given a little more than a week. This shortens a little bit as we go on because I was kind of getting the hang of like how much time would be given and everything. And then again, like writers work on episode 3, everything. And then of course, artists for episode 2 would start their rough thumbnails. The way the artists work is that there are 2 groups. The way I was originally going to do it is that I would have groups assigned to each episode. Episode 1 is group 1, episode 2 is group 2, episode 3 is group 3, etc. And people would basically choose what episode they want to work on. But when I tried to implement this, some people brought up, what if the same people keep signing up for each episode? Maybe some people just won't be able to work on an episode because it gets taken so much. And because of that, I took their criticism and I said, okay, I originally wanted people to like have the freedom to choose what episode they want to work on, but you're right, that might not work. And so what I changed it to is that people assign themselves to either group 1, group 2, and or the Pinchin artist group. Group 1 would work on all the odd-numbered episodes. Group 2 would work on the even numbers episodes. And the Pinchin group can involve people that are already in a group or they're not in a group at all. And those artists can, if an artist just isn't able to do a scene or there are a bit more parts than people in the group, then Pinchin artists, that is, if some of the artists that are already working on the episode don't want to take another scene on their hands, then they can pinch in. And so while group 1 is still working, group 2 starts. I made this just so the same artists aren't being constantly worked and rushed and everything. And it's to help get episodes out easier. And then, of course, I create an episode 1 rock mock-up. I take the VA lines and I take the thumbnails, and it's just a rough mock-up of what the episode is supposed to look like, timing and everything. And then on May 10th, they start to clean up the episode 1 thumbnails for polished frames. And see, on May 17th, the episode 3 script is supposed to be finished, and the episode 1 art is supposed to be turned in. So I give them about a week. And again, if it's early, if it's like a day late, then that's okay. And then I edit it, and episode 1 release date. And I say projected release date a lot because if we need to, then we can delay by like a day or two. Like, that's not a huge issue. I'd rather have an episode delayed than just overwork and rush the team. I told the server like right away saying, hey, like if you have any concerns about like how the project is run, or if you want to give a suggestion, then like please DM me. Like, I don't want this project to become a toxic work environment. This is a fan project. It's supposed to be fun. Of course, it can't be too lax, which is why I made this calendar. But it's just like, I don't want this project to go down the route a lot of projects do, in which there's a toxic work environment. People are overworked. They're rushed. There's just terrible management all around. And I'm really grateful for the people that did say, hey, so there might be a problem with how you have this planned out. I'm really grateful for them. And they weren't rude about it either. And I really appreciate the feedback. Calendar is still flexible because if somebody feels like that they're in for a crunch time or there's not enough time, then they can tell me and I'll update it a little bit, you know? So I am really excited for you guys to see the episode because we've just had so much fun coming up with ideas, writing stuff, and it's just gonna be so amazing seeing it all come together because everyone's so passionate and really excited about this project, and I really can't wait.